astronauts, this is Brandy and welcome back to Astro-Tarot Research. Hi, if you're new to this channel, as I said, I am Brandy and I like to combine astrology and tarot to give accurate predictions. Today's reading is the summer love story. So we're going to get all into your summer love story and what will be unfolding for you this summer. Will you be single? You're in a relationship? How's that going to go? We're just going to get into all of those nooks and crannies. But before we get started, I do want to remind you to like, comment, and to subscribe. And any links to social media can be found below. If you would like to get a private reading from me, feel free to check the description bar with a link to private readings. Sometimes they're available, sometimes they're not, but check that link and see if it is. Now let's get into these piles. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, and pile number 5. So let's not waste any more time and just sit back, relax, and choose. Hey, pal number 1, let's get into your summer love story. We have the Queen of Cups, and this is on the Shuffle Tarot deck. So she's got a little bit of the Empress energy here with the flowers around. And we have the Two of Swords on the Before Tarot deck, the Moon on the Before Tarot deck. Looks like they're summoning all of the creatures. We have the Ten of Wands on the After Tarot deck. And we have the Seven of Cups on the After Tarot deck. So let's get into this summer love vibe. Okay, so to me, with this Queen of Cups, your summer love story. I'll say this right off the bat, I can see it pretty clearly. To me, it shows that you're coming to a point where you are allowing yourself to be more open and more vulnerable. Like I said on this Before Tarot deck, they are taking a moment to pause and think, but at the same time, we have the Moon here, and they're not completely closed off yet, right? This is that like one last straw before I, before I kick everyone out the window. I will say this. You're being true and honest with yourself. We have the Moon appearing not only on the Moon card, but we also have the Moon in the background of the Two of Swords, which is all about following your intuition. And so this shows to me that this summer you're closing off the opinions of others. You're closing off all the noise. If you've seen social media, the gender wars are over the top. And you're closing all of that out. And you're following your heart and you're letting it guide you when it comes to love this summer. The Ten of Wands, when it comes to the After Tarot deck, is showing someone who has realized that they are taking on too much. They're taking on a heavy load. And sometimes this can mean that you have a lot of different standards or rules and things and set for yourself, or even just boundaries or things that you're looking for within a person that feel a little bit unreachable or just very difficult to reach. I'm not going to say it's completely unreachable, but it just feels as though this is a lot. You're tired and you need support. This summer is definitely going to be challenging when it comes to the love life if you're single and if you're searching for someone. And it's kind of funny because this Moon beam here is almost like a little search signal in the sky. When you see those lights go off in the sky and they're like searching for someone, you can see it in movies and stuff. And it reminds me of that. It's like you're allowing your intuition to guide you towards the right person. And maybe you feel as though there's just a lot of things that are blocking progress. And it may not even be you, because sometimes the Ten of Wands can represent external factors and responsibilities that we have to deal with. And so when it comes to love, this can mean something along the lines of, I work so hard, I'm very tired. Now I have to go out and date, or now I've got to go swipe through apps, and now I got to go meet people. I'm exhausted. I don't want to do that. And it feels as though maybe your energy is being depleted in those areas. And then one thing I wanted to say earlier, as I was talking about how it may be hard to meet those people who accurately meet your needs or your standards. When we have the Seven of Cups reversed, it's kind of like saying there aren't a lot of options. 100% I have gotten the Seven of Cups to represent options are limited here. You go in this direction, it's a closed road. You go in this direction, it's a detour. You go in this direction and there's construction. It's just a lot of different hurdles and things. And so your plans to expand, to let your intuition guide you towards the right person are just being interrupted or challenged, okay? And it's just difficult to find someone who you truly connect with. I will say, because we're on the After Tarot deck, there is some light at the end of the tunnel, just like this little moon here, a light in the dark, that shows that you may find someone who, I'm not going to say that they meet all of your qualifications and standards, because then we'd have different cards for this. But you meet someone who shows potential, who you feel as though this could go somewhere. When we're talking the Seven of Cups, we're talking about investing our time and energy, very similar to the Seven of Pentacles. But Seven of Pentacles focuses a lot more on material, versus Seven of Cups can be material, cannot be material, can be ideas, can be creativity. Seven of Cups has a lot more leeway. And so for me, this is like, okay, I'm choosing to invest my time in this individual, or could be multiple, but generally we're on the Seven of Cups after deck. They're after tarot deck, they're choosing one option. And so they're like, you're choosing to invest my time in this individual, and let's kind of see where it goes. If things start moving in the wrong direction, I trust you. You have this Empress, Queen of Cups energy that is showing you the way. You are trusting your instincts. You're not second guessing yourself. You're not allowing other people to make decisions for you when it comes to your love life. And if something's not working out for you, you'll go back to those other options. Even if it's a small limited pool, it doesn't matter. You're going back to those options. And I want to expand on this small limited pool, because sometimes in life we're looking for someone who maybe match us in spiritually, emotionally, lifestyle, family-wise, etc. And it can be hard to find the right person. For example, you want to be with someone you're attracted to, and let's say you're someone who wants to start a family, but then you also want to be with someone who takes care of themselves and has a good job, and you would love to be with someone pet friendly because you have a cat, right? And you're looking for all of these factors in one individual. And so when you're looking for all of those factors, things can kind of get a little bit narrowed down. I'll say the good thing about this is that when we have the Queen of Cups, it does show a sense of self-assurance and confidence in who you are, and knowing what your desires are and what you truly want, which is shown very clearly here on this After Tarot deck, Seven of Cups. You know what you want. You've grabbed it, and you're like, this is what I want. This is what I know I need. And maybe this person has 80% of that. We'll see where it goes, and if this is something suitable for me. And if it lasts, it lasts. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I say that because after the Seven of Cups, we have the Eight of Cups, right? And we all know that the Eight of Cups is about leaving things behind. So you have no issue leaving something behind if it's not for you. When it comes to love, and we have the Moon card here and the Moon imagery coming up twice, to me, it shows that the love life this summer may be a little bit unpredictable. One thing that I've seen about the Moon card is it very heavily relates to going through different cycles, going through the wilderness in a sense, and it also has to do with a sense of mystery and inconsistency, okay? And so this summer is more than likely going to surprise you, especially since we have this Two of Swords going on here. The person has their blindfold over their eyes, and it's almost like a metaphor for like your love life. Like you don't know what's coming next, and the things that are coming next are going to catch you off guard a little bit. Good, bad, doesn't really matter, but they'll catch you off guard. And I will say this, you'll have some very interesting summer love stories. Now, the Ten of Wands doesn't necessarily mean that you won't meet anyone. For example, you know, I've gotten the Ten of Wands to represent how certain months might be for me in terms of like creativity or, you know, hobbies or activities and things along the lines of that. And it wasn't as if I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do and invest my time in those things. It was more so I really had to plan around a busy schedule, and I really had to force myself to do those things. So you may actually even feel part of you might have to drag yourself out of bed to go on certain dates. And I really do see that you'll likely have some options. Like I said, the Seven of Cups does show a little bit of a smaller pool because you know what you want and what you desire and who you are. But the moon has a strong pull. You see how it's pulling this little lobster-like creature out of the ocean. So it means that you have this beautiful light that's calling in the sex that you're attracted to. And it's up to you to sort of sort through the pile of individuals, which is probably why we have all of these wands on the floor. You're like, which one do I choose? Where do I go next? Like there's a lot going on here. Like, how do I sort through all of this and narrow things down? But then you do, you know, you follow your intuition, you follow your voice when it comes to that. So definitely there is no lack of suitors, but it's more so like, can I find the right one? And that is a story. So for those of you in a relationship, you know, I've talked a lot about being single. You probably clicked off this video already. But for those of you in a relationship, this does show that you may be feeling as though a little bit like this relationship may be draining you a little bit. I will say that. There's going to be some emotional ups and downs because we do have the moon to connect with that. Whenever I've seen like a moon ruled day, you know, the morning might start off terrible, but then by night it's like, oh, this was a pretty good night, you know. So it gives a balance of like, this is good, this is great, you know, this is all right, you know. It gives you the full range of emotions when it comes to the moon, and that more than likely may be your love life. And we have that Two of Swords there representing making a decision or even coming to a standstill. And maybe it feels you're trying to pivot your relationship in a different direction, but it doesn't seem as though there is a great deal of cooperation. And I say that because with the Ten of Wands, they're taking on all of the weight themselves. And this can even represent the emotional weight, because we started off with this Queen of Wands, like Empress energy. And it's like you have so much love to give and so much emotional maturity and so much nurturing you can bring to an individual. But it may feel as though you're pouring in energy and you're not necessarily getting the same things back. And also the Seven of Cups reverse can represent feeling as though you've made a choice that, especially on the After Tarot deck, that you aren't sure is the right one. All right, I do want to throw that out there. This sounds terrible. Like I don't want you to make it to sound terrible, because honestly, the feeling of this deck is really emotional growth. You know, to me, it shows a lot of emotional growth this summer. And when I get the Ten of Wands, it's almost like you can feel proud of yourself for what you have accomplished and the lessons that you have learned along the way. And it also shows that you've done everything that you possibly can to make sure that you show up as your best self. And if somebody else chooses not to, then that's on them. And you can walk away proudly and feel as though you're ready for a new start. I do want to say that. But I also want to mention that there may be some things left unsaid with the Two of Swords here. It can choose to be like, oh, I'm trying to like give this good interpretation. I don't want you guys to be like, no, this is not me, blah, 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 blah. I don't want this to sound like we're drifting off into a space where it's not pleasant for you. But I have to be real as a tarot reader that these cards aren't exactly showing the most support within a partnership, right? When we have that Two of Swords, sometimes things get left unsaid and ignored. The Moon card can represent secrets and hidden things. And it feels as though with the Ten of Wands, you know, you're bursting to be set free. Like maybe you're holding in things too long, or you're feeling as though the weight of not having certain discussions is exhausting. It just feels as though you might be coming up against the wall. So I do want to say that. But ultimately, when we have this Seven of Cups here, it definitely shows that you are definitely taking a closer look when it comes to making sure that you're making choices that suit your emotional needs, and you're reevaluating your decision making when it comes to your love life. Like when we have the Moon card here and with this Two of Swords blocking everyone out, it's almost like you're choosing finally now to step into your own destiny. You know, it's saying it doesn't matter if I make mistakes or if things go wrong. You know, we're all living life for the first time. It happens. So there's definitely a lot of empathy and compassion for yourself that you're growing over the summer. There's a lot of trusting yourself that is growing when it comes to your love life over this summer. And so I want to put that messaging in there because I don't want this to sound too heavy or too difficult or anything along the lines of that. All of these cards definitely show growth, especially when it comes to aligning with your spiritual self, with your emotions, with making sure that you're taking care of yourself and meeting your own needs. Because to me, it definitely shows that there needs to be, something has to give when it comes to love. Like I said, whether that be you have to take a new direction when it comes to evaluating the type of person that you're looking for if you're single, or where it comes to evaluating the relationship that you're in itself or who you're dating. But it really does show that you're taking a deeper and inner reflective look when it comes to your love life this summer. So that's your summer love story. I do want to put that out there when it comes to that. And I think I'm going to leave it there because I really want you guys to get back to me and let me know how the summer unfolds for you, or if this is late. You know, feel free to choose a new pal if you're like, this is totally, you know, off for me. Or you could choose a new reader because maybe I'm not the one for you, you know. But I am very happy that you stopped by, and I really appreciate that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video and you like my reading style. And also, I go live on the weekends. That's Monday, Friday, or Saturday. And the time is posted on the community tab by Eastern Standard Time Tuesday. And also, you might see me pop up during the week. And the polls may or may not be back by now. Depends on when I post this. But they are back by the end of July. So be on the lookout if you want to give your input and what type of reading you would like to see next. I'll probably keep the polls up for a few weeks because usually the ideas start piling in. But that is what I have, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal. Number 2, let's get started on your summer love story. We have the Sun and the Hermit here on the Shuffle Tarot deck, combining different cards. We have the Ace of Cups on the Before Tarot deck. We have the Eight of Swords on the Before Tarot deck. We have the Four of Wands on the After Tarot deck and the Four of Cups on the After Tarot deck. So, let's get into this. Your summer love story. I have so many different interesting readings for the piles, okay? And a lot of the vibes are very much not necessarily I'm meeting the love of my life and I found someone, but more so a solo journey of self-discovery. And in particular, this pile, we have the Sun and the Hermit with the combination of the Shuffle Tarot deck, which, if I'm going to be straightforward, this represents being happy by yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm in my bag, I'm in my groove, like I love it here. You know, I feel great being independent. I feel great being on my own. I am comfortable in my zone. I'm in my PJs when I want to be. Like, I'm like, you may be outside, but you're still kind of like, please don't even bother me. Like, you know what I mean? This is like I'm going to a run to the grocery store in my pajamas. Like, I'm not looking to put any effort to be like, oh my gosh, what if I run into someone? Let me put on a wrap dress real quick and let me make sure my hair looks nice, because you never know who you're going to be. No, this is more so, I'm going to the grocery store and putting on my pajamas on. Nobody bothers me. And it's very interesting that you have this vibe this summer. And if you're already in a relationship, well, then that makes sense, right? You're probably not looking to meet anyone, hopefully. But it just feels as though you're not exactly starting the summer being completely open to put in the effort towards love. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you're completely closed off to the idea, because like I said, this is the Hermit and the Sun, right? So you're not completely shut in. You are outside, but you're just like, I don't know if I want to go fully out there yet. It's so bright out. I got this hoodie on. Like, you know, I don't want to get these sun rays on my skin. It's the same way like with love. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I'll show up to this bar, but like, oh, it doesn't have to be a bar. It could be any singles event or whatever. I'll show up to this location and, you know, but I'm not going to put into much work, and I'm not going to smile at anyone or try to flirt or twirl my hair or swing it in their direction or ask for any numbers. Like, I'm here. I showed up, but I'm not doing all that. But the universe is very interesting, because to me, it shows like the universe wants to give you some like love. Okay. We have this Ace of Cups here. And this is obviously the Ace of Cups on the Before Tarot deck. And a fish is flying out of it or into it. I'm not quite sure with this combination here. But either way, I think the fish might be flying out of it. But either way, to me, it's showing like the universe wants to welcome new opportunities your way. The universe is saying, please come outside. But here you are tying yourself up, or getting someone else to tie you up, or whatever the case may be. And it's like you're hiding yourself away from the world. And it could just be that you are choosing to have yourself tied up in different circumstances. Like, oh, I'm going to tie myself up to my work. And your work is more than willing to answer your calls here and say, yeah, sure. Like, if you want to work more hours, we'll have you work more hours. Or I'm going to be, you know, tied up to some other commitment that you might be invested in. There's so many different things that people do. Like, you can say, oh, I tutor on the side, right? That's a commitment that you make, a choice that you can make in your life. So you're tying yourself up with other things. And it just shows that you are pulling really hard away from love. Maybe not even consciously. Okay. This may not even be a conscious thing. But to me, all of the energy here for your summer love is like the universe is saying, hey, here's an opportunity for you. Hey, look at this. Try this. There's fun to be had. And you're just like this Four of Cups pouring it out, but it is reversed. So I'm going to get to that in a second. But you're this Four of Cups pouring it out, and you're just like, I'm not quite interested in that person, or I'm not interested in that aspect of maybe putting yourself out there, making the effort, because it is effort. We all know that. Doing whatever it is that you have to do to meet someone, just saying whatever it is, going outside more, doing more events, like going more places, having more fun, having more activities, funtivities, whatever you want to call it. All of these things that can connect you to people. And the energy here is, like I said, it's like halfway committed. There's this half foot in, half foot out vibe going on this summer. But the universe really wants you to just fully go for it. We have this Four of Cups reversed. Like I said, I get back to it. And when it's reversed, it's like we're coming out of this stagnation. I think by the end of the summer, you're starting to look at the people around you. You're seeing different couples. You're seeing different people. And I do want to say, if you're already in a relationship, feel free to choose a new pal, because I really do think that this is more for the singles. So this may not be for you. But you're starting to come out. You're starting to see all the people around you, all the smiling faces, all the hand holding, all the kissing. Maybe you're going to weddings. Maybe you've been invited to weddings. And you're like, you know what? I kind of do want to be like involved, you know? I kind of might, you know, reconsider taking a disinterested approach. You know, it's almost as if you're deciding to go back on the things you were sort of telling yourself that you will be telling yourself throughout the summer. Maybe you're too shy. Maybe you feel as though you're not meeting the certain people that you would like to meet. Maybe you feel as though you are being overlooked, or maybe you feel as though you're not attracting the right individuals. But with this Four of Cups reverse, it's like, you know what? I think I'm going to keep an open mind, and I just may start to take a little sip of this cup. I'm not going to pour it out. I'm gonna scoop the water off the ground and say, wait. Actually, come back, cloud. Could you pour some more, you know, water in here? Because actually, I'm thinking about taking a sip, right? Like, that is the vibe for this summer. And so I really do feel, though, I don't know what it is about this pal, but the universe really, really wants you to put yourself out there more, to come out of your shell, to come out of your box. If you feel like you've been more of a homebody, if you feel as though you haven't been as sociable, or maybe you just show up but you don't really talk to anyone, or you talk to the same people, this is you kind of stepping out a little bit. And I'm not going to say, you know, you might be going all the way or not, but it does show that you are stepping out more for sure. And you're deciding to say, okay, you know what? I have been in this stuck place for too long. I haven't been, you know, shooting my shot, because the Eight of Swords doesn't shoot their shot. And neither does the Hermit. The Hermit is, you see how he's got that hoodie on, and he's just like, please don't bother me. Like, I haven't been doing any of that. But there's something in your heart that is calling you towards taking an offer for love. Like, deciding that, yes, I really do want to actually make that move. Now, I will give a little interpretation for those of you within a relationship. For within a relationship, this is a lot of reflection time. I will say that you may have a different emotional state when it comes to your relationship this summer. Maybe the emotions are evolving. Maybe you feel like feelings are changing, but the Ace of Cups is definitely going to represent something new coming in, especially when we have the Sun. That is also two energies representing something new. When I've seen the energy of the Sun, it generally focuses a lot more on independence, which is probably why we have this Hermit Sun combination and why the person chose that. But there is a sense of focusing on your own life outside of the relationship. And it's almost like within a relationship, I'll say this because I've done a video on sun-ruled women, and sometimes sometimes they can feel a little bit trapped within the relationship. I'm going to say that. And you might even feel that way. You might feel as though you're like, I don't know if this is exactly the relationship that I am totally desiring. There may be some feelings there where you are really debating your commitment towards the relationship. I do want to say that. Because there may be some problems there. I say that because the Hermit is someone who's introspective, they're thinking hard, they're trying to figure things out, and we have the Sun here who is all about ideas and problem solving and having things come to the light, essentially, no pun intended. And so it's almost like I want to get some things off my chest, but I'm not sure how to say it. But I feel as though for some of you, and this is going two paths, for some of you, this is like, I'm going to keep my feelings silent to keep the peace. And maybe I'll sort of trickle in some hints. And then for others of you, this is representing needing time to pull away towards yourself. And it's almost like you don't feel as though either you're not ready to express your feelings, or you may not feel like this is the right time, this is the right space. There may be some fear of judgment or even repercussions for what you have to say or what you have to express within the relationship. And it's possible that you're like, I don't want to ruin this happy picture. But when we have this Four of Cups reverse, and the Four of Cups is no longer retreating, no longer pulling away. They're taking a more invested interest in what's going on around them. By the end of the summer, I feel as though you're going to be able to open up and express yourself more, which is probably where this Ace of Cups and this Four of Cups are connecting. There's definitely an evolution when it comes to your feelings about your relationship and the direction that you want to go in. The Four of Cups is a card in which, when it's reversed, they're coming out of a period on which they have spent a good amount of time thinking to themselves. It's very similar to the Hermit card. It's like they need that moment to rest and put a pause on their emotion, because they're coming off of that stage of the Three of Wands. And think about how you feel after you have left a party. Generally, you know, especially when you get older, you're not up to partying the next day. You're not like, let's, you know, do this all night, every night. Like, you're like, hey, let's have a little rest period, right? The Four of Cups reversed is like saying, okay, the rest period's up. I'm ready to move on to the next stage. I'm ready for that next party. I'm ready for that next adventure. And so for me, it shows like you're ready for that next stage within your relationship, and you're going to open up with your partner about how you feel. And I want to say that that can also apply for singles. If you are dating someone in particular, by the end of the summer, you're definitely going to, I guess, clear the air or express yourself a bit more about the things that have been on your mind, that you've been thinking about, and how you feel about generally long-term commitment, because it's next to that Four of Wands, or even feeling like you're being celebrated or appreciated within a relationship, because the Four of Wands can represent just being celebrated. So there's more than likely some feelings surrounding that when it comes to that. But I definitely see for the singles, this is Stella's got her groove back. This is like your friends pulling you out. Let's do this. Let's have a dinner date. Let's hang out. Let's go to this thing. And it's almost like you're feeling reinvigorated. You're feeling like, oh yeah, I want to do this now. I want to do this again. Like, I remember this exciting feeling of what it felt like. You know how sometimes you get into like a rut where you have a period where you're just like, oh, I want to stay home and be cozy. And then you do that for like, let's say you do it for a month, you know, everyone has different periods. And then you finally get outside again and you're like, oh wow, I needed this. Like I needed to be outside. I needed to have fun. I needed to have this moment. I needed to have some excitement and switch of pace in my life. That's like the feeling of this summer when it comes to your love story and when it comes to dating. You're like, oh, I actually did kind of need to, you know, throw myself back into the love game. If you've been out of it, which it looks like you have been, singles, for, if I say singles, because like the Hermit and the Sun, guys, like that's very much like single energy. But if you are single, this is very much, I'm feeling like this was the right move for me. I'm feeling refreshed. I definitely think that you're going to meet someone, especially with that Ace of Cups there. Does show that interest. You're a little shy about it, but it feels as though you're enjoying yourself and you're having fun, and this is a really good time. It's not really giving me too much information on the person. It's more so showing me your emotional experience throughout the summer. So I do want to say that sometimes the cards give me different messages depending on the pile, but that is like what I see for you, pile number 3, or sorry, 2. I know my brain just blanked. Pile number 2, and hopefully this resonates. If not, you know, feel free to choose a new pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you, but either way, I'm very happy you stopped by. Don't forget that I go live on the weekends. That's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Time will be posted by Tuesday Eastern Standard Time night, and I pop up during the week, and the polls may or may not be back. I like to poll you astronauts on what videos you'd like to see next. They should be there by the end of the month. It depends on when this video will be posted. So be on the lookout for that, and I will see you next time. Au revoir. Hey pal, number 3, let's get started on your summer love story. So this is the Strength card on the Shuffle Tarot deck. We see we have the Chariot figure and the Empress here. And we have the Queen of Wands on the Before Tarot deck. And she is looking at the flower here where the cat rests at her feet. We have the Knight of Wands on the Before Tarot deck, just about setting off on his adventure. We have the 7 of Pentacles on the After Tarot deck, and they have made a choice. And we have the King of Wands on the After Tarot deck. All right, and he is holding something in his hand. I don't know if it's a butterfly or, oh, it's a lizard. He's holding a lizard in his hand. All right, so your summer love story. There is some patience here as we go through the summer. To be honest, it shows as though you might be I don't know how to say this, but you might be dealing with a knucklehead, okay? Like, for some of you, maybe you're already in a relationship and you're like, this person is testing my patience right now this summer, and they're getting on my nerves right now. They're getting on my nerves right now. You saw the Empress card here, and she is basically trying to talk to this Phoenix-like figure, and it seems as though they're having a conversation, and maybe she is trying to persuade him of something, or her. I mean, it's genderless, but she's trying to persuade this figure of something, and the figure's just like listening. And it feels like for some of you in a relationship, you're having these conversations that are like, sometimes they might just feel a little bit draining. I mean, the Strength card here is definitely one of having to endure, whether that's enduring a rough patch, or whether that's enduring a period within your relationship where you're trying to reach an understanding with each other. But either way, it does show that you're standing your ground when it comes to certain things, and you're trying to make your thoughts known. And that's for those of you in a relationship. For those of you who are single, well, yeah, this is just maybe you're likely going to be entering a talking stage if you're not in one already. And you're having conversations with this individual, and some conversations may be going well, but then other conversations you're just like, I don't really get your perspective on this one. You're going to have to expand on that because that sounds a little out of the box for me. And honestly, for some of you, if you're going through talking stages, it might be more than one. I say that because the Strength card, you know, if we're in the beginning of a phase, who wants to put in that much work and that much effort with someone who they don't have that strong of attachment to? And so it may feel like you're going through several options, or at least one or two, where you're just like, okay, I'm talking to this person. they said something wild, next person, they said something wild, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like you kind of like keep swiping left on them, right? And then you might be even be literally swiping left. For those of you who are interested in online dating, this is like, oh, I'm keep swiping left until I see someone who sparks my interest, who I feel like, okay, I might be potentially interested in getting to know this person. And so it just feels like maybe a little bit endless at some point in the summer. But we have some positive cards here. We have a lot of wands, and wands represent definitely having that passion and that attraction to someone. And so it's likely that you're going to meet someone who you feel like, oh, I can really vibe with this person. And this is for those of you who are single. And it's worth noting that we have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands in the same spread. And you know, the King and Queen of Wands go together, you know, like white on rice, right? As they say. They go together. They are each other's perfect match here, okay? But it does show, because we have the before tarot deck queen and we have the after tarot deck king, you might be in different stages in your life. Doesn't really mean too much, not really a bad thing. And maybe, I just got a thought, maybe that's part of the reason why we have this strength card here, where we're having these conversations, where you're trying to reach an understanding, because you can both see each other's like potential, you see each other's vibe. There's so many different areas that you align on. But it just feels as though you're at different stages, and that happens sometimes, right? We also have that Knight of Wands here. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. So for some of you guys, yes, this is absolutely wonderful, because it shows a lot of enthusiasm, shows a lot of excitement when it comes to your summer love story. Shows you meeting someone new. Okay, there's so many different messages going on here. Shows you meeting someone new, someone who's thrilling, someone who is up for an adventure, someone who provides you new experiences. It feels exciting. It feels fun. One thing about the wand characters is they're very charismatic, and they can be very much a jokester. You know what I mean? Somebody who, when they come to the room, they're greeting everyone, they're telling jokes. Like, that's very wand-like energy. Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, King of Wands, all carry that same charisma, and it shows that you're meeting someone, or meeting maybe even more than one person, who can be very charismatic, okay? Who can put a smile on your face, who you have the same sense of humor with. I'm focusing a lot on the humor, but this can also represent shared interest as well. Having a shared interest with them, definitely wands connect to that. And I do want to emphasize that one as well, because the Strength card is connected to Leo, which is also a fire sign, and wands are also very fiery. And so this represents that maybe you guys have a very similar idea of romance. This also represents shared hobbies, okay? Shared interests, shared topics of things that you like to discuss. You know, maybe you guys watch similar type of videos on YouTube. Have you ever seen those pop the balloon videos? Maybe you both like watching those pop the balloon videos, okay? You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, but it shows that you have things in common with this individual, or maybe multiple individuals coming into your life. I say multiple because, like I said, the talking stages and things along the lines of that, but you're noticing you're having things in common. The Knight of Wands is somebody who likes to date individuals, and so it shows that you're meeting people who are like, oh, okay, I might be getting down with this person. Like, we're doing fun things, we're having cute dinner nights, we're going to the park, we're having cute picnics, like we're doing fun adventurous dates, we're both going, I don't know, like on a helicopter ride, which I'm just thinking of that because there's helicopter rides near me. They're not that expensive. So it's not like, oh, wow, they're spending like that much money. It's probably like $50. But we're doing fun, exciting things together, right? That is very much like the wand type energy. And so I see a lot of fun and excitement in your love life this summer, especially since we have all of these wands and all of this fire sign, and especially since Leo connects to romance. It connects to love, and it connects to romance. It connects to, other areas which I can't talk about because YouTube will censor me, but it connects to those, adult-like activities as well. And so there could be a lot of that going on, and you're having a good time. I will say though, with the Seven of Pentacles, if you are dating more than one individual, you'll make your choice. You know, the Seven of Pentacles here on the After Tarot deck, they've decided who or what they want to invest their time in. And it looks like, you know, if you have been going on multiple dates, or if you've had people who you were talking to, who you were getting to know, you end up making your choice and choosing one particular individual in general, and this person brings you the most excitement. This is the type of person who you feel as though they share deeper ideas with. I say that because the fire signs also connect to Sagittarius, the house of the higher mind, the higher ideas, the inspiration, who you feel happy to see every day or every other day, whatever, how often you see each other, who you feel brings a sense of spontaneity into your life, who you feel, you know, lights a fire under you, who you feel a strong attraction to as well. You know, there's a strong physical connection, there's a strong spiritual connection. Like, you may feel that with this individual, okay? So I do feel as though, you know, despite, you know, there might be some other people throwing their hat in the ringer, you're going to end up choosing one. And that's for those of you who are single. If you're in a relationship, this is definitely bringing some fieriness and passion into your relationship. And maybe for some of you, the Seven of Pentacles can represent an ultimatum. Like, it can, just because we're on the After Tarot deck and they're making a choice. And so it's just like, I'm making this ultimatum here. I'm making this choice. I'm not looking back. This is what it is. So there is a little bit of that. I don't see any sort of like breakup energy. So I don't think it's anything to do with that. But it looks as though in your relationship, you have both decided to move in a certain direction. And I really feel as though you're both saying, hey, we're really committed to this. Because when we have the Seven of Pentacles on its normal, regular spread, it's still deciding. It's still deciding what it wants to commit to. And when we have it choosing the path that it's committed to, it's like, I'm choosing to enact this behavior, or to really fully invest within this relationship and nurture it and grow it. Okay, so that is what the energy is here. King of Wands is somebody who loves adventure. They're definitely someone who doesn't sit still. So it seems like you're doing a lot of things together as a couple within a relationship. It's not the same old all the time. Not going to say every day is an adventure, because we do have some pentacles here which represent stability. But it's not necessarily, you know, very mundane. It's not all mundane. You know, we have a lot of fire energy here. Fire energy loves the spontaneity. They love the humor. They love the passion. They love making those impulse decisions. They love saying, you know what, let's go on vacation next week. You know what I mean? Like, or let's go this weekend, whatever the case may be. But they want that fun. They want that excitement. They want new things that can invigorize the spirit. There is a sense of a love for life when we have this fiery energy here. That is what fire is about, that passion. And we don't have a lot of swords here. We do have swords on the strength card, so that's why I mentioned the conversations being happen. But there's not a lot of swords here, which can mean that, you know, it's less about talking and more about having a lot of strong physical connection with each other. I'm just going to throw it out there. Less talking, more action between you two, okay? Or within your dating life this summer. Also, you know, when it comes to the air sign individual, when it comes to the air sign nature, this is often saying like there's a lot more conversation with friends or other people giving opinions about relationships, versus wands don't really talk as much about their relationships. And so there is less opinions, unless we had the Five of Wands or some other card here. But I don't see that. So to me, it seems like there's less interference from other people, which is great. You feel strong, you feel empowered, you feel good. There may be some times like where, you know, certain people get on your nerves here, because we all know the Knight of Wands can be a little shady sometimes, okay? The Knight of Wands can be definitely a little shady and self-absorbed. But there are those moments, but it seems as though things are moving in direction that it feels like something lasting and stable and happy is going. Like when I think of the wand houses. I think of like just ambition, drive. To me, it feels as though you're meeting someone who's highly motivated, or maybe multiple individuals who are motivated, or even maybe your partner's being reinvigorated and motivated to do certain things. Possibly they are in a better mood. Wand energies generally have this spirit in which they want to tackle life. You know, it's hard to feel invigorated when you're down and out, right? But wand energy is generally going to be a little bit more upbeat. Okay, so maybe your partner is feeling a little bit more upbeat, ready to tackle the world there. And you see that within them. You see that fire within their eyes. And you have that same fire. Like, this is like, hey, we're building together. We're doing things together. We're working as a team. We're working as a unit. Don't get me wrong. We bicker sometimes. Knight of Wands, definitely going to bicker. Wands in general going to bicker. But it's like, we can get through this. And we're working together to get through this. And we're making decisions that are right for us. And that is really what I see for you, pile number 3. This seems like a very exciting summer. This seems like a summer in which you are really in your zone, okay? A lot of social events if you're single, or at least a couple are thrown in there. A lot of people who might be shooting their shot, or maybe you're shooting your shot, because the Queen of Wands, she's not afraid to shoot her shot. She's got that confidence. She's like, yeah, if I see someone, I'm gonna shoot my shot and say something, especially if he's the King of Wands. So I see that coming for you. Yes, there may be some times that are just like, where you're holding your head, but for sure I see some good things happening. And that is what I want to say for you, pile number 3. If you like the reading, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If this pile doesn't resonate, feel free to choose a new pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Either way, I'm happy you stopped by. Don't forget, I go live on the weekends as Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Time will be posted on the community tab, Eastern Standard Time, and the polls will be back this month. They might even be back right now, so feel free to check the community tab for the polls if you want to participate in what reading you see next. And I also pop up during the week for lives, so if you're interested in that, you know, stop by, ask a question, hang out, chill, whatever you want to do. And I hope to see you there. Au revoir. Hey, pal number 4, let's get into your summer love story. We have the King of Cups and the Devil here. This is a shuffle tarot. We have the Temperance card on the Before Tarot, and you can see she is filling her cups. We have the Hierophant on the Before Tarot, and he doesn't have the crown on his head quite yet. Don't know if you can quite see that. We're focusing here with the lights. And we also have the Six of Swords on the After Tarot deck, and the Six of Wands on the After Tarot deck. All right. So obviously right away when we have this King of Cups Devil card, to me it shows that you may be coming out of a place where you had some emotional stressors. I mean, to understate things, especially when we have the King of Cups and the Devil combination on the Shuffle Tarot deck. What this is telling me that there may have been some cycles where maybe you have chosen partners or find yourself connected with those who weren't the best fit for you, especially emotionally. And honestly, to me, this summer love story shows to me that you are moving out of this stage, especially since we have this Temperance card, we have the Hierophant, we have 2 sixes here, and 6s are all about balance, connecting with the Temperance card, very much on theme. We have this huge theme of balance here. And so when we're looking at that, we're showing that you're moving from this state of maybe emotional ups and downs, possibly toxic romantic cycles. If you have been someone who's been more of in a period of singleness, you know, some people go years and years being single, which I completely resonate with. This is like saying you're coming out of a space where maybe you were guarded, or that you had possibly even had negative self-talk. That can happen. Sometimes it can represent just feeling like you had to look for external validation when it came to your feelings or your worth. That can connect to the King of Cups as well. And I say that because quite often we can have these huge emotional ups and downs because we're connecting circumstances, decisions, the way that others treat us to our worth. And that's completely normal. I think lots of people do that, and it takes a while to build that confidence. But we have the Hierophant here, and the Hierophant is on this card just being crowned, and that's you this summer. You're stepping into a place where you're taking back your confidence, and you're taking back your power, and you're trusting your intuition and your values more, and you're sticking to it. And the thing that I like about the Hierophant represents structures. And when you have institutions, agencies, etc., things that are structured, that means they have rules and they have boundaries. And so you're stepping into a place where you have strong rules and boundaries for yourself. And we have that Temperance card refilling your cup. So like I said, you may even felt like you were being emotionally drained when it came to different areas in love. And that can be, gosh, there's so many different circumstances that can drain us when it comes to love, from people to the way we treat ourselves. But right now, this summer love story is about refilling your cup, reconnecting to balance, and moving on to a place where you are being appreciated for who you are and having a strong sense of self-worth and a strong sense of self just in general, okay? I want to say that the overall vibe of these cards are very interesting in the fact that they're not exactly screaming love story. They're more so screaming self-love story. And that may not be what you want to hear, but it is the message that I am receiving, that is the most powerful thing that you are getting out of this summer. You're moving on. You are actually coming to a place where you feel confident, where you feel good about yourself, where it even feels like you're welcoming more comments from people, and possibly maybe you go through some transformations and changes in your life that are bringing about this new behavior or reaction from people. And I say reaction from other people because we have this Six of Wands. And on this card, you can see that the person who's been crowned the winner is talking to the crowd. They're talking to the people who are sort of cheering them on, and they're giving a wreath to the woman in a crowd. And so there's this positive exchange between people, which indicates that you're having more positive reactions from other people when it comes to your life in general. And that is affecting you as well. You're starting to feel better about yourself and who you are. And that's not just you saying, oh, I'm placing my confidence on other people. No, it's because you're feeling really good and more aligned with yourself. And now you're meeting more people who are treating you with the respect and the celebration that you deserve. Because honestly, you have been through quite a heavy weight and toll emotionally, especially given this King of Cups Devil spread, Devil card here. That shows the heavy weight that you've been carrying. And now you're lightening your load. I mean, quite literally, the Six of Swords on here is unloading. They've landed. They don't need to carry their bags for too much longer. They're at their destination, essentially. And so you're lightening your load mentally and more than likely emotionally as well, because these things are connected. And it feels as though this is a summer of celebrating yourself. Now, I'm trying to hone in on the messages of love. And when it comes to love, it does show a desire for something committed. And I say that because we have Temperance here. And Temperance is connected to Sagittarius, and often the fire signs connected with our desires, our passions. And if it's next to the Hierophant, that's a desire for a strong connection, a strong commitment with someone. And you're moving to a place where you're going to achieve that. You're certainly now attracting more individuals who are going to be more like-minded, who are going to see your value, who are going to appreciate you 100% more. Like, that is coming. But it doesn't represent that you're being tied down just yet, unless you're already in a relationship. Then I'm going to read this a little differently, because if you're already in a relationship, then this is coming out of any toxic cycles, and Temperance connects to higher levels of communication, so it can represent deeper conversations that you are having with your significant other, or even deeper conversations that you're having with yourself as well. I do say with other people though, because the ninth house in Sagittarius, connection, blah, 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 is the third place away from the seventh house. So it's the communications of other people. And so that's why I said it may be more of a conversation with you and your partner. That was my first interpretation. But it's like I'm having these heavyweight conversations because the Hierophant doesn't do things lightly. It's like saying, hey, we're going to have this conversation of, do we see this going towards marriage or some other commitment? You know, everybody has their different thought process when it comes to what they're desiring in the long term, but you're having that heavyweight conversation. It's like I'm no longer dancing around it. I'm getting to the point. Like, we're on temperance energy. This is about having things blend together and making sure that there is a sense of balance. Like, my needs are being met and your needs are being met. It's not just one way or the other, okay? And the Hierophant is there to ensure that you are both aligned in your values and you're both aligned in your way of thinking. And if not, some of you actually might be hitting the road. You might be leaving that relationship behind and going on to a place that feels like you can be celebrated, that you can be appreciated, that you can be truly loved and desired and feel connected. As I said, when it comes to the sixes, this is all about making those strong commitments, not just to other people, but to yourself as well. You know, in numerology, when you have a 6th year, people always say it's about responsibilities and other people will ask things from you. And that is very true. But it's also about taking on the things that you feel are important to you and making a strong commitment to that and showing up consistently. And it's going to put a lot of responsibility on you. So I do want to say that this summer is about, honestly, a lot of it's about holding yourself accountable and being committed to yourself. It really is. And the relationship aspect, the love aspect, really deals with, does this person align with me? Is this person the right fit for me? Do we come together in a way that is harmonious, like this temperance card here? Are we looking, do we have the same beliefs? Are we looking at the future the same? Are we viewing the big picture the same? Are we moving in the same direction? Because if not, you know, 6 of Swords, I have to go. So to me, it shows that this is a summer where you're stepping into yourself. And, you know, maybe that sounds corny. Maybe that sounds a little too spiritual. I don't know. But that is the message that I see clear as day. And I will say, for those of you who are single, 100%, yes, you're going to attract a lot more people this summer, especially with this 6 of Wands energy. As I already mentioned before, these are people who are a better fit for you, people who can see that value, people who can celebrate you, people who can treat you well, and it's reciprocated. Like I said, you're giving that wreath back to the individual. There's this mutual exchange of love, or I should say admiration. That's the better word for the 6 of Wands. There's a mutual exchange of admiration and respect. And when it comes to the Hierophant is someone who is listening to messages from a higher power. They're always learning and growing, and they're looking for ways to build a strong community. And I feel like this summer, you're surrounding yourself more with people who are more positive, who are looking to lean on each other in times of need. More people who are there to help each other and to give back and to show support. I feel like this summer is a lot to do with, it's a lot to do with platonic love, I'm sorry, but there are some flirtations there. There are some flirtations there. It doesn't necessarily mean that this summer is the summer that you're meeting the love of your life, but you have plenty of options in terms of suitors. And these are people who, like I said, are going to be more respectable, are going to be more serious-minded, are going to be a better blend and a better mix for you. It's not leaning one way or the other, like the Devil card here with the King of Cups. That's very like, I'm giving myself emotionally and I'm being drained, right? Very much that energy. Versus now it's like, You know, you open up yourself to me, I open up myself to you. We hear each other out, we listen, we try to reach a compromise, we try to reach a blend, we try to remain respectful of each other. Temperance card wants that balance. And there's a sense of rejuvenation, as I've mentioned. You're stepping into this place where you're like, I'm finally listening to myself. I'm not ignoring the signs. I'm not ignoring the red flags. And I'm going to step into my rightful place, my rightful power, and know my true worth and stand in it. Like, this is a stand on business type of summer. So I think the overall message is that you're going to have a great summer when it comes to how you feel about yourself. You're going to have opportunities to meet individuals who you could potentially see a future with. You're leaving any sort of like emotional draining. If you've been doing that, if you felt like you were pouring into someone and not getting anything back, if you have felt like you have been neglecting your own emotional state for the sake of some other person or seeking love or a relationship, no more of that is being happened. There's more balance. Like I said, that is the key word here, balance. And something is calling me to add up the numbers. So just give me a minute, because I need a minute when it comes to math here. It is a 4 energy, and that is connecting to stability. That is connecting to having structure. That is connecting to having a strong foundation to move yourself forward. And I do want to say, like I said, 4s are not necessarily like this huge transformation in terms of like, my life has turned around in terms of my love life, but now you're building a healthier foundation in which you can move forward from. Meaning, as I mentioned before, hey, I have this strong sense of worth and self-esteem. So now I can tackle and move forward in my love life and reject anything that is out of line with how I feel about myself. And that's where I see it. So I do want to say that is the vibes that I have for you, pal number 4. And isn't that perfect? You're pal number 4 and you got the added up to number 4. So I really want you to know that it's going to be a beautiful summer. You really are going to just feel happy being you. And like I said, there are going to be people interested because we have the 6 of Wands. So people are going to say, you know, you're hot stuff. But you're not necessarily focused on that. I just want to say that. But that's where I'm going to end it. And if you like this reading, feel free to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If this pile doesn't resonate, you know, feel free to choose a new pile. Or maybe I'm not the reader for you. Either way, I'm very happy you stopped by. Don't forget, I go live on the weekends. That's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Time is posted on Community tab, Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday night. And I do pop-ups, so check during the week to see if I pop up and you can ask a question. And sometimes I do a weekly look ahead. So if you are interested in that, just stop on by. And I think that is when I want to say polls should be back. I'm not sure when this is posted. I know it'll be in July. I promise the polls will be posted by the end of July. So, you know, check the community tab for that as well. The polls might be back by the time this reading is up. And I will see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal, number 5. Let's get started on your summer love story. We have the Shuffle Tarot deck, was a combination of the 4 of Wands and the 4 of Swords. This is the Before Tarot deck, and this is the 8 of Cups. And you can see them drinking from a cup. And we have the Before Tarot deck, the 7 of Swords, and you can see them taking the swords. And we have the 3 of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. And this is the After Tarot deck. Just thought I'd use some of my faves, right? Before and after and shuffle. So what we have here when it comes to your summer love story. So right away, I wonder if this pile is more single than not. If you are not single, you might want to choose a new pile because there's not a lot of energy here that would indicate wanting to be within a relationship or even being tied down to the current one you're in. Because I say this because we have this Four of Swords, Four of Wands energy combination. And in a way, it looks more so like a memorial service. It's almost like a funeral. So it's like putting things to rest. Like, you know, it's a combination of those energies. When we have the Four of Wands, it's a bunch of people coming together to celebrate. Generally, it's connected to a wedding. And the Four of Swords is like a period of resting. But when we're coming together, it's almost like we're celebrating someone's life here on earth as they've passed, which looks like the image here. So to me, that and the combination of the Eight of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles and the Three of Wands, it's like I'm looking for something different. Like I'm ready to leave this relationship to rest. I am considering going solo, and I'm sending my energy and my vibes out for new suitors. Like that is the vibe of these cards. So I wonder, for those of you who may be in a relationship, if you are even considering at least taking a break or pulling away or deciding that this person may not be the one for you. I also want to say that all threes connects to more than one individual. So when we have a three, we have a third party situation, no matter what the card is. And so when we have the Three of Wands, this is like, I want to explore new people. Like I'm ready for something new, ready for something different. And it shows like your summer love story. Part of it might be putting yourself out there. Now, for those of you who are single, this is also interesting as well, because for me, this looks like for the majority of the time, you're not interested in meeting anyone. Like you have put your love life on pause. You're like, goodbye, love life. I don't want to deal with you right now. Like the Eight of Cups is like, please, I'm just ready for something different. They're taking a sip from a cup, and you know what happens with the Eight of Cups. They move on, right? So something about that cup was unsatisfactory, and whatever they drink, it wasn't it. You know what I mean? It wasn't the taste that they were looking for, and they end up leaving. Here on the deck, they're tasting from it. For me, it's like tasting from what you've already had. So in a way, this card is almost like, okay, given the experiences that I've had, I'm looking back on it. That's that taking a taste from it, looking back on it. And I'm realizing, ooh, I don't think I want to go through that again. And it's like this Seven of Swords card. You're running away from any sort of person who even might be even remotely interested in you. If I'm going to be completely honest, you know, they're sneaking off. I'm assuming all of the camp is resting, or they're in some other area. You can sort of look that as like people in relationships, and you're off doing your own thing. You're off doing things that fulfill you, or that gets you some sort of excitement, or something along the lines of that. You're forming strategies in different areas. And so to me, it looks like you're remaining in that singledom. You're remaining in that space where you do not want to have to deal with possibly another breakup situation, or a relationship, or a failed dating experience, a failed talking stage. Like, and maybe I shouldn't even use failed, but it should really use the word ending, or like it didn't go anywhere. Like it just felt like this wasn't for me. Like you're avoiding that. So when we have this Seven of Swords here, look, like I said, no one's around. You're avoiding people like the plague here, okay? So I really feel like you are dedicated to this sense of singledom. And the thing I say, I used to say a lot more often, is when I get the Eight of Cups, I often get that for people who are actually quite desirable in a way. And so for me, it's actually very interesting, because you can see that they have lots of cups that they can choose from and drink from. And maybe they decide, okay, you know, I might think about this one person, but ultimately the Eight of Cups, they move away. So you might have a moment. You might have a moment where you're like, let me download the app a little bit and see who's on the app, or let me go to a singles event and see like who's there. But then ultimately you're like, nah, I don't think this is for me. I don't think any of that is for me. And so when we have this Three of Wands, to me it shows that you're more so thinking about putting that off for the future. The Three of Wands is a visionary. They want to look ahead. They have cast their ships out. They've already come up with some sort of plan, and they're hoping that it works. And there is a sense of creativity going on with the Three of Wands as well. So it might even be thinking about expanding yourself or trying different avenues in the future that you haven't explored before, but it doesn't seem like you're interested with that right now. And I do want to say, remember, the Three of Wands is about waiting. And so there's this period of like, okay, I just kind of want to wait for somebody to come in. Like, I want to wait for the right circumstance. I want to wait for maybe when I feel I'm up to it. I want to wait just for that passion or that connection, or when it feels right, you know, or when I feel like someone crosses my path and this is someone that I would like to reach out to. Now with this hawk here, you sort of like sending a message. This could be you manifesting. This could be you saying, okay, I know that there is no one around me within my radius or in my current dating pool that I'm interested in. So maybe I am going to do my best to manifest however it is that you prefer to manifest, and think about how I can get to the person I desire. Or even this can show that you're focusing more so on your personal goals rather than a relationship, which is very interesting given this spread and the fact that you have clicked on this reading. Possibly, you know, you were just very curious about if things might change during the summer. And I will say, you know, it can change if you want to. You know, these cards are all about choices, especially since they're all minor arcana. Nothing here is necessarily like this is hard to avoid, which you might get with a major arcana. This is simply just you and your own personal desires. On the Seven of Swords here, this person chooses to try to take these swords from people. On the Eight of Cups here on the Before Tarot deck, they chose to take a drink. On this Three of Wands here, they're sending out a hawk signal for basically probably to check on to see how things are doing. You know what I mean? Like this could also be you like checking in with your spirit guides and saying, hey, am I still in line with my right path? Is that person still coming in? Will I still, you know, meet my future spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, or like whatever? So you're like, might even be doing your own tarot spreads and trying to figure that out. But to me, it's all about choice. It's all about you choosing to do this, and only you know what's best for yourself. Now we do have this Page of Pentacles here. I wouldn't say Page of Pentacles is the most romantic card. You can see on the deck we have a page, and we have almost like this elf-like figure here. And it's not like a romantic connection, right? This is the After Tarot deck. The Page of Pentacles looks like they're handing over their pentacle to this elf-like creature. It's more of like a bond or even transactional going on here. So if you're forming some sort of connection or relationship, it may be just like more platonic, or you're thinking about, maybe this sounds bad, like what can I get out of it? But let's be real, like all relationships to some degree are transactional. So you'd be thinking more of a practical lines. You're thinking more so, you know, if this person has something to offer me, you know, I might consider it. And there might be someone new coming in who may have something that might be of interest to you, but it is the Page of Pentacles. So given the cards here, you may not choose to entertain it. It's really up to you. But obviously with the Page of Pentacles, that does represent someone new coming in. Also, we have the Page of Pentacles representing a message. And so maybe throughout the summer, you get some messages. There's some synchronicities that are in connection to your love life. You know, that can happen. Like sometimes people, they get a dream, right? They get a dream that's like, oh, your spouse's name is Matthew or something like that. And you're like, oh, okay. You know, that doesn't really mean anything at the time. But then years later, you meet someone with the name Matthew and whatever. You guys get married. So over this summer, you may even receive some messages from Spirit regarding certain long-term committed relationships. I want to emphasize on long-term and committed because generally the Pentacles are looking for that sense of stability, strong foundation, and obviously Pentacles and pages of Pentacles relate to messages, okay? But like I said, over the course of the summer, it does look as though things are going to remain a single summer. As beautiful and handsome as you are, you do not seem to be interested in those around you. And to me, it feels as though even though other people may be vying for your attention, or you may receive some offers or flirtations or being asked out on a date, to me, you're looking at it more as like a platonic thing that's not necessarily something you want to fully commit to right now, especially with the Three of Wands. Like that's not the most committal energy. They're still sort of like in a testing phase. They're still in a phase of thinking about things, wondering what's out there, seeing the results of their actions, and then they may reevaluate and adjust and go in a different direction. You know, they're hoping things work out, but they don't necessarily know that for sure. You know, it might be back to the drawing board. They might have sent some things off to be sold and not too many people bought it, and you're like, okay, I gotta really think this through and send something else back there, which pertaining to your love life, it's just like you're more in a evaluation phase. You're more in a phase of, let me think towards the future. Let me plan towards my life. Let me think about when is the right time for me. But to me, I feel as though you're in a place of rest and relaxation, and you are putting that pause on your love life. Now, when it comes to actual things, just kind of like non-related to your love life, you may even receive some news of opportunities when it comes to, you know, financial security or career or goals or something like that. And this generally would be positive news because look at the cards. They're very happy. They're very friendly with each other. And the cards just want you to know that quick message here while we're talking about the summer love. There actually may be some new things that you're accomplishing or learning or building towards that you're going to be quite happy about in the summer. So I want to end it with that. But that is what I have for you, pile number 5. If this doesn't resonate, like I always say, feel free to choose a new pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. But either way, I'm very happy you stopped by. Don't forget that I go live on the weekends, and sometimes I pop up during the week. Time is usually posted for the schedule lives on the community tab, Eastern Standard Time, by Tuesday night. And don't forget to tune in every Thursday for a new reading, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir.